Could everybody stand up and give the proper salute? Pledge allegiance.
Good evening. My name is Ronald Coleman, and I'm resident of Forest Creek Lane, as you know, in Cottonwood Heights. I'm here to implore you to improve the fence that runs along Highland Boulevard from Bingle down to where our subdivisions begin. The deterioration has taken place over the last several years, and the city has not done anything to address the problem. And we would like to implore you to send the city services there and lay up a timetable by which the fence can be replaced, rebuilt, and in a manner where we wouldn't have to come back here for another 25, 30 years. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Farah Farouk, and I also live by the Regal Stream Cove. And we have been living in Cottonwood Heights for almost 16 years. It's a very beautiful city. We love it very much. So it's sad to see how that part of the footpath, the railing and the pole is breaking down. So it would be nice if we could address the issue and fix that so the city looks beautiful. Appreciate it. Thank you.
My name is Robert Smith, and I'm also a resident of Cottonwood Heights. We just live down the hill here. I sent earlier today some pictures of the fence that I'm talking about. It goes north and south on Highland Drive. And if you look at the pictures, you'll notice that almost every pillar has, the mortar is wearing out around the bricks. And so some have already fallen down, some have bricks missing, but it's just a matter of a short amount of time and they'll all be deteriorated and falling down. And so we wanted to alert you to that and implore you to have somebody look at it. I'm not a contractor. I don't know the best method to fix the fence. We like the fence. We're glad that it's not a big cement wall or something like that. We like it being open, and but it's going to just be falling down. What I've noticed is when I look at the pillars, is they aren't reinforced. They don't have. They're just sitting on top of a pad. They can be turned, and my understanding is that bricks are typically in this kind of situation are more for decoration. You should have a concrete pillar with some rebar to kind of make it strong. And these are just bricks that are there and they're used to support the fence. But of course, the bolts that are in there are all falling out. And so it's all going to be coming down soon. So we urge you to have somebody look at that and repair it. It's a major artery of the city. It's close by City Hall. And it's a reflection on the city. And so we hope that attention will be given to that to fix that. Thank you. Robert Smith.
And Mayor, just for the record, we did receive those emails. I think all of them were, Robert and Christine sent 2 emails to the whole council and myself. I'm just, for the record, want to note that we received those and appreciate you sending those.
You say we have one more person that would like to come on up. Yep, state your name when you get up here, please.
My name is Robert Orton. I reside in Regal Stream Cove. And I would add only the following to that which has heretofore been said. I walk along the sidewalk on the west side of Highland Drive in that area. And the fence is in not very good condition. I notice that a lot of people walk and jog along there. I've noticed that the landowners on the other side of the fence have substantially improved their property at great expense, I think, in installing trees, admittedly for their own beautification, but also for the beautification of the city. It's a beautiful city. It's a beautiful street. And that's a substantial artery into the residential part of the city. I'm proud to live there. I'm proud of the city. And I believe that it would be well advised to improve or replace that fence and construct it in a more permanent manner. It would be appreciated by residents of the city, I believe, and I urge the mayor and the council to act in a positive way on that request. And I thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time coming here. I know that's also even a safety issue. I know if there were an accident, where a car were to go up over that area, there are homes on the other side. And so I know having a fence that's in good condition is a priority. So thank you for your comments. And as a council, we will take it under consideration. So thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Okay, are there any other comments before this time we'll close the public comment period. And we will move to our legislative action items. beginning with 4.1, which is consideration of resolution 22-17, which is approving entry into the First Amendment to a consulting agreement with Horrocks Engineers, Inc. We discussed this item as a council in our work session today. Are there any other questions or comments from the council?
So from the District 4, I think on behalf of the residents there, I'm so pleased that the council is taking this to vote. This traffic study of the area that is affected around the Canyon Center there in the southwest portion where Fort Union Boulevard meets Wasatch Boulevard is something that we want to make sure flows well, that is safe, that fits in with our goals for better active transportation and transit for our city. So I'm very pleased about this traffic study. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Burrell. Hearing no other comments, I will now entertain a motion to approve resolution 2022-17.
I move to approve resolution 2022-17, which is the First Amendment to the consulting agreement with Horrocks Engineering, Inc.
I second that motion.
We have a motion to approve from Councilmember Newell and a second from Councilmember Burrell. We will now call for the vote. Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bracken,
Yes.
Councilmember Newell,
Yes.
Councilmember Burrell,
Yes.
and I will vote. Great. So before we move on to legislative item 4.2 on our agenda tonight, we do have a citizen who would like to make a comment. So we are going to open back up the public comment period and invite him up to make a comment. Please state your name and when you get up here into the microphone. And
Thank you very much.
only about
Appreciate that. So I was walking through the door, they're closing it down, apologize. I was looking at my income taxes. So I saw on the agenda through the notice that you sent out to all the citizens in the mail that you would be talking about utopia today. And I don't know if that's still on the agenda to come up. Just to give you an idea of my understanding about these things. My career's been in IT for 45 years. I was IT director for UDOT for 30 of those years. And as you may know, UDOT probably has the largest fiber network in the state. Goes across the whole entire state. And while we were planning and putting together the fiber network for UDOT, utopia started to emerge. And back when it initially started, I think there was a place for it. But as time went on, other carriers stepped up to the plate. You know, Comcast is one example. CenturyLink, they've increased the speeds of their communications, their internet speeds, and then other providers. And there's a number of them out there now. There weren't when they first started, but there are now. And so at the time, it made some sense for cities to maybe get into that business a little bit. The dream was that if you had fiber, then you'd have this magical influx of businesses and everything moving into your community because of the higher speeds. Just to give you an idea of relative performance. So I worked in the Rampton complex and they had, I think, 2 fiber communication links for that entire building. And so when you talk about running fiber to somebody's home, there were 600 people in that building. and it handled them. And electronics is part of that. Electronics put on either the fiber. So to me, it's kind of a solution without a problem, especially today when there are a lot of other alternatives out there. In addition, those cities that did jump in with Utopia, they had significant increases to their taxes. If you go and do a search in Google for Utopia, you'll find Utopia, Utah, you'll find all kinds of articles where Utopia was, I don't know if they actually went bankrupt, but they were on the verge of bankruptcy. But the cities that had jumped in with them, they were constantly having to feed Utopia by taxing their citizens in order to keep them alive. So for a number of reasons, I think jumping in with Utopia would be a very, very bad thing. Given the alternatives that are out there, given their financial problems, given the overkill of the solution, especially today with the alternatives. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Just as a side note, the Utopia discussion was during our work session. The work session will be online, so I would encourage you to go on and to listen to that discussion later. It was informative, and one of the things that I mentioned is we're have future discussions coming from Google Fiber, from CenturyLink. So we're going to evaluate more than just Utopia. But I appreciate your comments and for coming tonight. With that, I am going to reclose the citizen comment period and move back into our legislative action items at number 4.2, item number 4.2, which now is consideration of resolution 2022-18, which is declaring certain property surplus. We also discussed this item. Do we? Yeah, so we've discussed this item as a council in our work session. Unless there are other questions or comments from the council. Without any other comments or questions or comments, we probably won't have you come up, Scott. So, okay, hearing none, then I will entertain a motion to approve resolution 2022-18, declaring certain property surplus.
Well, I will make a motion to approve the resolution 2022-18 declaring property surplus.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve from Councilmember Burrell and a second from Councilmember Newell. Any other questions or comments? Great, I will now call for the vote. Councilmember Bracken,
Yes.
Councilmember Newell,
Yes.
Councilmember Burrell,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson, and I will vote yes. Great. The next legislative item is 4.3, consideration of resolution 2022-19, approving entry into a service agreement with Air City Bounce for the 2022 Butlerville Days. This is also an item that we discussed earlier in our work session. Does the council have any other questions or comments?
Well, I would comment, I spent today doing some recruitment for our youth city council, and there was a number of questions about the days. They're very excited about the activities coming back at a regular level. This is one of those. I would move that we approve resolution 2022-19.
I'd like to second that.
Great, and I will just add for the record that these items will all be free of charge
These ones will.
These ones and that we're
You
talking
still have
about
to buy the
specifically will be free of charge, not the food. Okay, any other questions, comments? Could I have a motion to approve? And you second, okay, we have a motion to approve from Councilmember Bracken and a second from Councilmember Peterson.
Maybe you really need to be far right when that happens.
We'll now call for the vote. Councilmember Newell,
Yes.
Councilmember Burrell,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bracken,
Yes.
and I will vote yes. Okay. Our last item on our agenda this evening is approval of our consent calendar. I will consider a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I will motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second that, Mayor.
We have a motion to approve the consent calendar from Councilmember Burrell and a second from Councilmember Peterson. Let's proceed with a voice vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, that concludes the items on our agenda this evening, and I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Possible for me to do that.
Could be a record.
I move that we adjourn, Mayor. Oh, does somebody else?
Sean did it.
It's been a crazy.
Motion to adjourn from Councilmember Newell, a second from Councilmember Peterson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We just set a record.